One of the things about investing in large infrastructure like a tunnel house or a hoop house, whatever you want to call it, is that you want to be able to make the most of your investment. So today I am succession planting in my tunnel house. My tomatoes are still in the ground. They are still producing and probably will keep doing so for another month or so. But now is a really great time for us to get some of our winter crops in the garden. And this is the way that we make the most of the tunnel house space that we do have, and make sure that we're being able to use it year round. One of the other ways that I make sure I can use this space year round is, at the moment, this is where my pumpkins and squash are drying, but ordinarily this is actually a heated propagation table. So during the winter months I usually have quite a few plants in here propagating so that I can have new baby trees and new baby bushes for the springtime for planting out. Here are some pictures of some of the ones that I actually grew last year. Now all of these were tiny little cuttings last winter, and all of them I've managed to grow for free using that propagation table. I don't have a video on putting the propagation table together, but I have got a blog post on it, so I'll put a link to that down below for you to check out. Now one thing I did do was probably about 6 weeks ago, I came in here with some seeds and literally just snuck some cauliflower seeds in the ground. So they have grown into these wonderful big plants that will continue to grow over the winter. When I take out the tomato plants, I will just cut them off at the base. I'm not going to be pulling them out, I'll just leave the roots in the ground, and this way I'm not going to be disrupting the other plants around them. So in this box here, I have actually cheated and bought some seedlings because I never managed to actually time it right to have the right size seedlings for when I need them. So I've got a mixture of cabbages, cauliflowers, lettuce, spinach. I think I've got some kohlrabi and some broccoli. I think this is a Chinese celery, which I've never tried before. So I'm going to plant all of these, and we're just literally going to plant them in between the existing plants. Now, the first thing I've actually done is gone through and trimmed off quite a bit of the tomato plants that are here, because a lot of them have decided that suddenly it's a really good time to get big and bushy, and realistically they're not going to have a chance to actually ripen their fruit before it gets frosted in here. So if you are in a place that the inside of your tunnel house will get a frost at some point, choose plants that will do okay if they get a little bit of frost. So for us, brassicas and spinach, silver beet, or also known as Swiss chard, those sorts of things do alright in our tunnel house without any extra protection. In the very middle of winter they do slow their growth right down, but they do pick up again quite quickly as soon as the weather warms up a bit as well. If you're in a place that the weather is really cold, you can actually set up in a little tunnel similar to what we've got outside, a little tunnel within your tunnel, so you're getting like a double layer. And a lot of people in those really cold climates where snow lies on the ground all winter long can still grow brassicas successfully as long as they're under a couple of layers of plastic. So because I'm cheating and using some seedlings, it's not really cheating, you're welcome to do it. I'm going to just plant my seedlings in between the plants that I've already got, and then grab the markers, the name tags that actually come in the containers, and pop them in beside them so I remember what they are. And then all I have to do is come in, work out where the water line is, because that's where our water comes in from washing the clothes. And so we just make a little hole in here, pop out the seedling and stick it in. Now these are kohlrabi, they can get planted a little closer together than most of the other brassicas. Now there are a few things to be aware of if you are into planting, especially in a tunnel house, but it also applies anywhere else, is if you're planting in underneath existing trees, you've got to be really aware of the root system they already have. Also, you'll find that the soil does tend to be a little bit drier, and plants that are going to be sitting in the shade because of the big plants next to them might take a little bit longer to get started. You can see here, these are some of the roots coming from, I presume, the tomato that I've inadvertently dug up while I'm putting in these lettuce plants. Now this doesn't actually matter, one, because the tomatoes will recover really quickly, and two, because the tomatoes are actually on their last legs. As soon as a frost hits in here, they'll be done for. So I'm not too worried about saving the tomatoes. Anything we get off them from here on out really is just a bit of a bonus. And when they are actually finished fruiting, we'll just come along and cut them off. Now you'll see here that the ground is also really quite dry. And that is because, of course, the tomatoes are sucking up most of the moisture that comes through here. So I will come through and water these guys in just to make sure that they're well and truly settled into their new place. And after that, the drip tape will keep them damp. If you do end up getting yourself a tunnel house or a glass house or somewhere to raise your seeds, I recommend that you think about some other ways that you can be using it through the year as well, so it's not going to waste while you're not using it. This might mean that where you are, if it's really hot during the summer, you might look at getting a shade cloth or something to throw over the top, or some way of raising the sides to let ventilation happen. For us, it means that we can have greens all winter long and not have to worry about them outside. I have put together a really thorough video all about succession planting and how to plan your garden, and there's a free interactive PDF, so I'll put a link to the video up here for you so you can check that one out. I'm not going to go into all the details now about how you go about planning a succession garden, but this is just the way that we do it in our tunnel house. It's how we make sure that we're getting food year round as best we can, and that the tunnel house isn't sitting empty for half the year. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, hit the like button. Consider subscribing to our channel. We bring you videos twice a week on growing and preserving your own food. We'll see you in the next one.